Okay, so I'm on the light rail today, where was I going? I was going downtown. I was going downtown to mail something. And, there's like these two people sitting across the aisle from me, and they have like suitcases and things. They're in town on a business trip, I later find out. But the guy who's sitting also across the aisle near them starts talking to them, and he's like this big dude, probably 50-ish years old, in like a zip-up hoodie that says hardcore 00. So, already seeming like a real winner. And, he's kind of crazy. I can tell. Before he even starts talking, just from his look, you can tell he's kind of crazy. Anyway, he's talking to these people, and he's like, "Oh, so what brings you to this town here on vacation?" Because you kind of had to try to understand him, because some of what he said wasn't necessarily very intelligible. Anyway, not the point. And they're like, "Oh, we're here on business," and he's like, "Oh, are you gonna at least get some time to check stuff out? Go up to the top of the Space Needle, blah blah blah." Which the Space Needle's really not that great. There are way better views of the city for less, if not free. Anyway, they're like, "Nope, we get no time," and he's telling them all these things they need to check out. And then when we're passing the stadiums on the train, he says to them, "Oh yeah, the stadiums, blah blah blah. That's where all these teams play." And he's like listing all of our sports teams. You can't see my hand. I'm gesturing. You can't even see it. He's listing all the sports teams, and then he says, "And then there's our hockey team, the Seattle Sounders." The Sounders are a football team. No, they're a soccer team. They're a football team if you're not in the U.S. Anyway, point being, no matter where you are, they're not a hockey team. And I'm kind of like, okay, sure, let's go with that. I'm just sitting there, still listening, and then he starts telling them how to find out about local events. He specifically recommends that they look into our local weekly newspaper, The Strangler, which he says repeatedly, The Strangler. Now, for those of you who are not from Seattle, let me just tell you, the name of the newspaper that he's recommending is not The Strangler, it's The Stranger. But he repeatedly tells them to go pick up a copy of The Strangler. Repeatedly. And I'm just like trying to take this in, trying not to laugh at him as he's like talking, going on and on about the Strangler and the Sounders hockey team. Anyway, we get off the train at the same station. We both get off at University Street. And as he's walking up the stairs, I'm like walking kind of next to him, and he's like laughing about this. Sorry, I just got a text that I was trying to kind of read as I... Anyway, he's laughing about this. And he's like, "You hear what I told them?" And I'm like, "Yeah?" And he's like, "I got him." Dude was trolling the whole time. Dude just like, he knew. And he just kept going. Call this guy King Llort, because he is king of the trolls. I swear that reference makes sense. Look it up. A troll in Central Park.